down to the dead. Let them come, let them come, let them come. We'll only have to beat them again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we call Millwall. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the den. Inside the play in Polo Lane, we've all come down to cheer. We've had our jelly deals and our glass of beer. Come rain or shine all the time, our families will bring.
Oh.
And as the Lions run off the pitch, everyone will sing. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to
Right.
the down. Let them come, let them come, let them come. We'll only have to beat them again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we call Millwall. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the den. Inside the play in Polo Lane, we've all come down to cheer. We've had our jelly deals and our glass of beer. Come rain or shine all the time, our families will bring. And as the Lions run off the pitch, everyone will sing. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the down. Let them come, let them come, let them come. We'll only have to beat them again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we go Millwall. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the den. Let them all
Come down to the
Why, it's gone early doors. We are live. How are we doing, boys?
What's happening?
Good.
It's an O'Mara takeover on the Den debate.
Man, here to take over.
In the shadow of the biggest game in 20 years, boys. How are we feeling? 4 days away from the big one. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days.
I don't get nervous. I'm starting to get a little bit shaky, a little bit away.
Oh, dear. Evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. 138 people already in.
Lovely.
Which doesn't surprise me. Boys, we always say this will be a weekly show. And down to me, as usual, it hasn't been. We have not done a Den debate since, that's the 4 games we've had. I'm ashamed to say I've not been to 3 of those away games, although I did watch them. Hull away, Preston at home, and we thought we was back on track. Wigan away, we was row it out, and then Blackpool, we was row it back in again, weren't we, boys?
Yes.
Let's start with that. Where do we stand on this? Because I know Joe and Pete, I think you said it after Wigan, 1 minute we'll all row it in, 1 minute we'll all row it out. It's like the fucking okey cokey in the SC16. On the whole, boys, the league table doesn't lie, does it? And I think we need to take stock of how far we've come in a very short space of time. I don't credit myself, but sort of since the channel started. But you've seen teams like Scunthorpe, Oldham go out the league, Southend, Bradford. These were all teams, Joseph, we was competing with 4-5 years ago.
Yeah, I remember. That's where I think I've done my first ever plug on Lions TV against Scunthorpe in the League One playoffs, and look where we are now compared to them. Who knows? This time in a few weeks, we could be a Premier League club, and there'll be a conference club.
Mate, there
Imagine,
we say it.
imagine.
There we dream. But Pete, you was a little bit pissed off after the Wigan game. That you said, what's wrong with these people? 1 minute they're row it in, 1 minute they're row it out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had that. There was a guy particularly right behind us. As you noticed in my video I done, I had to move away from him.
Don't mention that, but I'll cut that out. Yeah,
it was quite abusive towards Rowett, and a few supporters give him a get a sharp shrift back right to him, sort of thing, you know. And we're looking down. Yes, of course, it wasn't a great result, and we you know, me and the boys, we travel quite a bit this season, especially looking at all the games, mainly all up north. It's a little cluster: Blackburn, Wigan, Preston, Blackpool, and all that lot around there. But yeah, that game was very, very disappointing. The players didn't know, like it was like the Bradford game years ago. They was embarrassed by the performance. I know they was, because they were stuck on the halfway line when the whistle went, and they didn't know whether to come up to us. And let's be honest, at that stage, I think 99% of us all thought we'd blown it at that stage, because it was completely out of our hands. So going home, travelling home, I was listening to the Preston Blackburn match, Preston Blackburn. And then when Blackburn went 1-0 ahead, I went, here we go. And then I thought maybe a win would be better for us. But then, hey-ho, Preston got a last-minute equaliser. So it gave me a little bit of hope after that. Then I looked at the fixtures during the week, and I thought, well, if they win and they win, you know what you like, then we're back in it. And it all worked our way, didn't it? Into our favour, you know. So, but the Wigan was a disaster, an absolute disaster.
Con, what do you think is behind this little dip in form? Is it just, you know, that's the way it goes? We've had good runs at earlier points in the season, and then we'll have our turn at having a little bit of a bad run. Do you think it was nerves setting amongst the players, or do you think it was down to Gary Rowett?
No, I think there's the key. I think was Cresswell going out injured, and then I think we threw a player who wasn't fully fit in Sean Hutchinson back into a back four. And I think I see early doors from that back four that they just both look knackered, Cooper and Hutchinson. And I think I'm glad he changed it against Blackpool to the back, well, essentially a back three with the wing backs. But I think it was Cresswell going out injured and Hutchinson coming in, a bit fatigued, and then it just didn't work, and we just opened up completely at the back. I think that's what it was. And then I think the Preston game got us over the line, and then obviously he's thinking to stick with the back four. But essentially I think it's all down to the main centre half, Charlie Cresswell, going out injured, and I think it's going to be a huge loss for the rest of the season.
Yeah, sort of when players come in. I mean, I didn't think he had a great season at all. I was really critical of Cresswell, but he did seem to really get to grips with it. And then, you know, as luck would have it, he goes and gets injured. And then he sort of becomes almost a forgotten man amongst our season, doesn't he? What do we think that has been the key to us? I mean, our form's not been great of late, but what was this all down? I think, and I've done it in the past, people very quick to point fingers at Gary Rowett. Do we think this was down to Rowett on this occasion, or do we think it was down to players? Because people go, well, what Rowett should do is, and then Rowett's argument could be, well, shut the fuck up. I've got us to, and we've been in and around the place for a few months. So is it wrong to point fingers, Joe, at Rowett at that point when it wasn't going right against Hull and against Wigan?
Do you know what it is? That Wigan game particularly, I was really wound up after that, because I felt like a lot of our fans just, they want to look for a scapegoat. They always want to look to lie the blame at one particular person.
I'm quite Rowett, it's to be fair.
Yeah, like I've had tiffs with people where people are trying to blame Burke, saying Burke ain't this, Burke ain't. I was like, what's everyone's problem with Burke? I'm like, you've got to be deluded if you think he's a bad player, because to me, he's probably the best winger at our club. And it was a day, everything just seemed to get on top at Wigan. People were pointing fingers at individuals. If it weren't Burke, it was the manager. And like, I think some people can be a bit fickle at times and deluded. It's like, how can you be singing Rowett's name like a couple of weeks ago?
Stoke
and
away.
Then fair enough, fair enough. It was so disappointing at Wigan, but don't start cutting them off again and then just suddenly going Rowett out, he needs to go. I've seen it on Facebook groups, I've seen it all over, and I'm like, come on, I just don't understand.
Joe's right, because when we was at Wigan, they pointed out the crowd. I agree with Joe 100% that why they pick on certain. certain players all the time. If it wasn't long most of the time, now it's sort of McNamara. They sort of meant to start to have a go at, and then they had a go at McNamara and who's the other right back?
Oh, Malone. It was
Malone.
McNamara and Malone.
Thinking
And then
Malone
they
and
both got taken out of the team, didn't
McNamara,
they?
right? And it wasn't pretty, Dan. It wasn't pretty. We was
It's
there.
not nice to
They was
see.
coming up and I was abusing Malone and McNamara. And once I see that, I thought, that's it. We've lost all connection with the fans and the players.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is it now. We're not going to get this back. We've got 2 games to go. And that was really, really bad. Thank God, the lot that went up to Blackpool was a completely different kettle of fish. They was all backing the boys. So, yeah, I thought we completely lost that. And I don't agree. I've never been one to slag off players unless they're really bad. In the past, as you know, I've blown it. I think Aston Villa away, Brentford away many moons ago. When I remember them 2 games and I rightly sort of lost it. But genuinely, I'm always backing the players. But it was a bad performance, agreed. But come on, you got to look where we are. And it wasn't. Exactly. I want one of these half-glass full. Everyone going, it's finished. It's been. I went, no, it ain't. It ain't over to the fat lady's things, right? And I proved right. I've been proved right and right again. Every game, the last 5 games, a must-win game, a must-win game, a must-win game. I said it ain't. It ain't a must-win game, and I've been proved right. But Saturdays is a must-win game. But maybe not. If we get a draw, we might get it.
Well, listen, Kenny's not in tonight. Obviously, he couldn't get on the stream tonight, but he's got his little girl. But his arguments to the contrary would. I'm just putting it out there because I'm completely happy where we are and what we're doing as a club. But some people will say, it's as Steve Lee just said, it's not the results, it's the performances, and also, this is a very weak league this year, which I think it is to a point. Con, do you agree that the league is weaker than it has been over previous seasons?
Yeah, I think it is. I think this is more. I think it's not that the league's got weaker; it's the fact that we've got stronger.
Yeah,
and I think that teams who have come down, the Norwich and the Watfords, I think they've just been useless, really, haven't they? Them 2 teams, and they've still been up there for somehow. But I think this is probably one of our best seasons now to go on and do it. But then you say that next season it could be another season where teams come down and they don't adapt to the Championship. But I wouldn't agree saying that the football's been dire because apart from maybe the Wigan game, but I think in the other games like your Hull games, I think we had chances in that Hull game. I think the Preston game, obviously, we came away with a win. The football wasn't the best, but we had a decent performance. And even the Birmingham game, I don't think it was too much of a bad performance.
Oh, fuck me, the Birmingham game. Do you know what? There's no content out for the Birmingham game because I wasn't here, was I? I was actually flying home at the time. So there's another game there that I missed.
Well,
This is an interesting one that Steve Lee said. He says not to do with the actual results, though. It's the football, which was absolutely dire for 2 seasons. This season has genuinely been better on a whole. I agree with that completely. I have said maybe we've become accustomed to the Rowett way, but I think the introduction of a 10 and the partnership that Zian Flemming and Tom Bradshaw struck up, and people won't say, they're not a partnership, but they are a partnership. Flemming plays just behind. They link up really well. And when you think back, I've said this to numerous people, we fucking love Morrow and Gregors at this club. We absolutely love them. And they were brilliant, but let's not forget, they were brilliant in League One. When we come to the Championship, neither of them could really fucking hit a barn door, if we're honest. So, do we not give this team, this manager, and this... Well, I think the strike duo speaks for itself. They're getting every credit they deserve. But, if you could put in your side tomorrow, Flemming and Bradshaw, surely you're picking it all day long over Morrison and Gregory, which, to me, to say that seems a little bit weird. But that finding that 10 and taking that gamble on Flemming, and Flemming credited Rowett with really pursuing him to come to the club, it's made a massive difference this season, hasn't it?
100%. Like you said about the whole Morrison and Gregory thing.
Yeah.
They were great, but the Bradshaw and Flemming it's a step up. Morrison and Gregory didn't really cut it at this level as much, but Yeah, them two. Like, if it weren't for them two, where are the goals coming from? Because I swear 90% of our goals this season has come from either one of them. But they link up well, and yeah, I'm sure I've read an interview earlier. I can't remember what I see earlier, but one of them said how they complimented the other, or it might have been Rowett that said it.
It's brilliant to see when you see the Sky Sports, or that light's flickering fucking still. It's driving me mad.
Listen, there ain't many other teams in our league that's got two players like combined on the amount of goals as that. When you look through the top scorers, yeah, but when you look through the top scorers in the Championship, having two there close to each other, maybe Middlesbrough, not many other teams have got that, and that is an underlying thing to success in this league. Having two players there that both in double figures scoring.
Let's go back. Let's take it back, boys. Sorry, let's go through the games. I'm just having a general chat. Let's really enjoying myself, but we do need a structure to the show. I'm a sucker for a bit of structure. So since the last podcast, if I can say it, I'm not pissed yet, honestly. The whole game. Do you know what? I'll be honest. The reason I didn't want to go whole was people were saying the results are falling away and we bottled it and we've run out of steam. And I didn't have a problem with that. I honestly didn't have a problem with us running out of steam because I did predict we would. And again, we've exceeded as a team my expectations. But the whole game, we created a fucking lot of chances, didn't we? A lot of chances, Pete.
Yeah. I mean, I was amazed we didn't get nothing out of that game. I don't know if it was happened to you, but we was watching the game live here, and it was It's one of probably the best performances we've played away from home. Created loads and loads of chances, and we're watching it on the iFollow, and all of a sudden it went like that, right? And then it went, it went, it come back on again about a minute later. We're watching it, and all of a sudden it's 1-0.
Yeah,
it froze. It cut off.
It froze and it cut off. And literally a minute later, we're just watching it. Like it's come back on again, and we didn't realise we was 1-0 down. I was in like, so we know it's got to be a mistake.
Yeah, I remember.
But we create chance after chance after chance. And how many times have we said it? Like Birmingham, you could play 150 minutes and you're never, ever going to score. And it was one of them games. And what really, really, does me in is the inconsistency of our players. It's like they can play like that away at Hull, right? And we lost, which we shouldn't have done. And you play away at Wigan and you put in such a weak performance,
It's funny, right? It's because I work with a lot of Arsenal fans, and they've been obviously they keep tabs on the channel and they keep tabs with what's going on. And a lot of them said, you know what, we watched the Blackpool game, and your team seems to lose concentration. And like you said, Pete, from Hull to Wigan to Preston to other games to Blackpool, we don't sometimes. It is a little bit of a criticism, I suppose. We don't lose consistency over one or two games. We can switch off in one game.
Yeah.
And be up and down.
It's like that Jekyll and Hyde.
But it's not even like over 2 or 3 games. It's like within that 90 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, you could. And like, with some of the games I watch, like some of them games, like the Wigan game or games that we've been really bad away or even good away, I find it hard to pick a man of the match. Sometimes I said to the boys, I said, what we need is to have 5 or 6 man of the matches in one game. Like we got 6 players.
Yeah, where you can't pick. Yeah,
where you can't, because everyone has played so well. We find it struggle to pick a man of the match. Wouldn't it be lovely, like on Monday, that we will have 11 man of the matches, and if the players are watching tonight. We want. No, but we want everyone. Not 10 man of the matches we want. Yeah.
Talking about actually man of the matches and best players over a course of a season. The player of the season. Let's just do that quickly, boys. Who would be your player of the season for us?
I just see who's going?
Go on, Joe.
I just see a comment there that I quite agree with Ross Howard, where he says, I can't look past Saville. And I think there's been a couple players worth honorary mentions. Like, start of the season, I would have said Mitchell until he got his injury. but he was out for quite a long period, so I think he'd be out of it. Cresswell, second part of the season, he was brilliant. If he was fit all season or was better at the start, maybe. But looking at Saville, I think he's been consistent all season.
Yeah.
And I think he's done a lot of stuff that's sort of gone on under the radar and unsung. And I just think he's been solid. So, yeah, for me, I'd probably have to say Saville.
Yeah, let's talk about Saville before we get the answers from the other boys. He went away from the club, then he come back like his third spell now, his second permanent one. Of course, he was on loan originally from Chelsea. Went away, come back. Wolves. Come back. Yeah. He started out at Chelsea. Then he had a really good run. I think we sold him 8 million. Went to Middlesbrough for like 2 or 3, 4 seasons. Came back and we're like, he's not the same player. Blah blah. And what Saville's now, he's matured. He hadn't played in that high press in behind Morrison and Gregory. I think at the start of the season he struggled to get to grips with it, but he's sort of become now a little bit of a get your toe in, upset someone, get in the ref's ear, but he fucking does it so well.
I think we've sort of had to
in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, I think we've sort of had to like last season. A lot of people are moaning, going, he ain't the same player as he was. But that's because of the way we've set up and the way we play. He's
exactly. We used to call Saville the goal scorer, arriving late, scoring goals.
And it's like we've had to accept that he's playing a slightly different role now. And this season, we've seen him flourish in it, really.
Yeah, he has been absolutely superb. So who's your you can't afford Joe? Who's your?
No, I'm saying Saville.
You say Saville?
Yeah.
Pete, who's your player of the season? If you had to pick one.
Well, if I'll pick one over, I think as for such an improved player is Cresswell. I really, I know a lot of stick in the first few games, but once he come back and he got into that role, I mean, you don't realise the range of passes of that bloke. Some of the tackles he put in, made odd mistakes here and then, but I was so impressed with Cresswell. I am, and he is going to be undoubtedly a future England captain. I've got no bones about that. But I think, like Joe said earlier, or Connor said earlier, is that we missed him when he got injured, and I think that's why we've gone on this like abysmal run. Maybe like lapse of concentration in defence, and some of his passing movement across the pitch to the forwards was unbelievable. And I just think we missed them little bits. So I'm going to go with Cresswell.
I think he's been massively improved second half, but for the first half, not for me. But there was a player in there. I actually unfollowed him on Instagram because I felt bad because I've given him so much, not personal abuse, just like he's not for me sort of thing.
I don't think he's played enough to. Well, obviously it's your opinion, but I don't think he's played enough to warrant the player of the season.
Con?
It's all about opinions.
Oh, sorry, just before we carry on, Two Blaine Talks Footy. I love this guy. How you getting on, mate? You've been very complimentary to me. Hopefully you're there on Monday.
Is that the guy that was at? Is that the guy that was at that Watford game that done the video where he said
Aaron Two-Blaine, what a legend he is. He is.
Yeah.
I mean, we met him at the Football Continent Awards. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, good point.
Listen, big hello to everyone, by the way. Sorry, there's loads of comments. I will try and go through them in a minute. A lot of people saying hello. A lot of people saying they're nervous wrecks. Join the club. And someone said, thank God Kenny ain't on. Was that Kenny? Is that Kenny? Is that his dog? I think it is Kenny's dog. Is that Zeus? Yeah, it could be. Sorry, Con. Let's talk about your player of the season.
Well, as much as I give credit to George Saville and Cresswell for the seasons they've had, I know that Saville's had to drop into a bit of a deeper position since he's arrived back, just to give Flemming that little bit of freedom higher up the pitch. But for me, I can't look past Tom Bradshaw for player of the season.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
There he is.
I can't believe I didn't mention him.
And
Flemming's worth a mention as well.
Flemming is... I mean this in the nicest way possible. So someone in our box said he's a glorified Aidan O'Brien, and he's not. He's a fucking great player. But in a way, I think he meant that as a compliment. And I know what he means. He might not do a lot in a game.
Yeah.
And he has had some unbelievable games. Don't get me wrong. Preston away, And just before we went on this bad run, he was like along the front line. But he might do nothing in the game, Flemming, and pop up and score a great goal. But Con, sorry, let's talk a little bit more about our player of the season, Tom Bradshaw.
Yeah, but like I said, listen, Billy Mitchell's been improved this season, and I think if he wouldn't have been injured, he would have been in with a shot for player of the season. But yeah, I just think he can't look past Tom Bradshaw, because I think in terms of his effort, he's always running around, he's chasing lost causes, and sometimes he's even created goals on his own. There's the goal against Cardiff away, I think it was earlier on the season. He just nipped in front of the defender, and he's chasing these balls down, and he's running around like a headless chicken sometimes, like just to work. He works his socks.
You see at the end of the game where if he gets taken off, he's proper run himself into the ground.
And for me also, I think he's just come on leaps and bounds in terms of, I don't know if it's the beginning of this season, but definitely last season. Think about it, he wasn't even the first choice striker. We had
sorry to cut you off. There was a time during lockdown where he couldn't get in the side in front of John Daddy Bavardson, and people was going, he's fucking Bavardson. Get rid of him. He's shit. He's League One. And I said, he's a fucking good player, mate. You give him the chances. You feed the Bradshaw, and he will score. And to be fair, though, he's improved even more than I thought. Like, his hold-up play's improved. He's winning fucking headers now.
Yeah. Did you see those 2 goals he scored on Friday against Blackpool?
Mate,
that is exactly his type of goal. We play to his strengths there, not lumping up long balls. That is what he thrives on. That through ball from Watmore, the pass by Leonard in the box. That's
what I mean. He's a fox.
We played to his strengths at that game, and the finishes, especially the second one, like how composed he was. Brilliant.
Yeah, fully agree. Go on, Con.
Sorry, there's a lot of the times where we're just hoofing the ball up to Bradshaw, and he's up against 6'2", 6'4" defenders, and he's not going to win the ball in the air. But if you play to his strengths and play the ball on the floor, I think he's converting half of his chances.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it's nice to have the Bermondsey Burkamp, and I'm going to nickname Bradders the Rotherhithe Rush.
What?
Rotherhithe Rush.
The Rotherhithe Rush. He's Welsh. He's not from fucking Rotherhithe.
Yeah, but
Ian Rush plays for Wales, didn't he?
That's what he plays for Wales. Yeah, Ian Rush played for Wales.
I was shitting myself when he played for Wales. I was like, he ain't got to call up in fucking 6 odd years. Yeah. He's going to go to the fucking qualifiers and not getting injured, but luckily he didn't.
Listen, Connor and Joe spot on, right? If he played in a team, Bradshaw, of like Burnley, who'd play football, that get it down the line and play the through balls, or not so much in Norwich these days, but a football inside of League One, he'd be on 30 goals a season. Yeah, because he wouldn't be fighting for the long ball all the time. They'd be playing to his strengths, getting down the wing, playing the through ball, which we don't use enough. Do you know what I mean? We haven't got that skillful player to thread the ball through.
What did we do on Friday? Your prime thing that you love to say, that first goal, got behind him,
got behind him,
back across the box.
That's all I say.
Bradshaw said.
And you got the incoming, or it was Bradshaw, but you get sometimes you'll have a midfielder come late. Play that ball, get the iron and play it back. I've always said, and that through ball. Yes, he works his socks off with a long ball, and he shouldn't be having to deal with that crap. Honestly, he shouldn't have to be dealing with that. He's too good for that.
Let's move it on. Let's move it right on to the Blackpool game, because again, boys, I wasn't there. You was. And when he put that team up, Jamie Choke, good evening, mate. He says Lenny in the back 3 against Blackpool was a masterclass. Didn't have the team wrong, boys, when I told you it 2 days before it kicks off. But he put that team out, and I went, fucking hell. I put in that group, didn't I? A couple of days before, I went, I think I'm hearing that's the team.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that is and we all went, hang on a minute, that's a fucking good side. And I think it was brave from Rowett, it was bold, it was risky. But I think now, with Leonard in that back 3, it was a fucking. I feel guilty saying it was a fucking amazing night because I wasn't even there. What was it like, boys, being there? What was the build up like? The atmosphere?
Oh, mate, that was brilliant. It was like, do you know what made me laugh? Because Lee Chitty's Lee Chitty summed it up perfectly in his video. He said something like 3 heart attacks and 7 strokes later. Because I remember I was just sitting there at one point with my head in my hands during the game, like second half, and my head was just pounding. Just like the emotion of it all up and down. Oh, mate, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Mate, Millwall Tube's on. Good evening to Ahmet. Good evening, mate. If you haven't already, check out his channel. I'm trying to find his comment. But I watched his vlog from the game and he went, "We've got a penalty." Oh, no. Like, penalty's a good thing. I felt exactly. We've got a penalty. Oh, fuck. Like, as if we conceded one. But I know exactly what he means. Like, the tension watching it on telly, boys, it must have been. I mean, was everyone there expecting with a crowd? I could hear you was all loud and fucking up for it.
I was adamant that was going into Rosette, like his free kicks. Yeah. As soon as I see him coming up, I went, "Oh no!" I went, "No, I can't look." And like, you know, you're all there, and the pressure. Like, I know I ain't got much here, but at the end of the game, my side of my head was soaking wet with the pressure. But when he took that penalty, I went, "This is not going in. This is not going in." And of course, it did go in, and we just went absolutely ballistic. And it was like, it just rolled in for like 24 hours when it was on a buzz. It was on a high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You couldn't sleep because it was on such a buzz when the final whistle went. You know, when that 9 minutes went up as well, I thought, oh no. You know, no, it reminded me away of the playoff final when we were holding on and the ball went down the end. You thought, we've won it now. We've won it. It's not coming back up here. And it was just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so winding back to the starting 11, got picked for that game. Said very fucking risky, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. It paid off. Was you surprised to see Con that Rowett had changed it to a back three?
No, not at all. You know, going back to what I said at the beginning, I just feel like Hutchinson and Cooper, as much as they're fantastic players, I just think they looked a little bit leggy and tired in previous few games, and the defence just seemed to open up. And for some reason, whenever we're getting attacked, the defence, the two centre-halves just seem to back off. So I think it's nice to have someone else in with them to, I don't know, do the dirty work and push forward that little bit, and just to take the pressure off them as well. And also, I don't think it was a shock to see McNamara and Malone dropped either, because Dad and Joe, when they went up to the Wigan game, they said that they was the two players who give back to the fans, rightly or wrongly. They gave it back to the fans at the Wigan game, so I think that might have been a reason why they both got dropped. But I think the two wing backs and the defence, I think the whole shape, it just seemed to work really, really well.
No, I agree. The big call as well, Joe, to drop Danny McNamara, big fans' favourite. Do you feel it's warranted? And how do you... Let's all talk about Jamie Shackleton's performance, because I literally was going, Shackleton's having a game of his life, and then he goes and concedes a penalty.
Yeah, well, it paid off. Like, I know McNamara's been a bit inconsistent of late, but he's got the ability. But listen, maybe it was the right time to switch it round. And I'm a big fan of Shackleton, to be honest. At the start of the season, I was unsure about him, but all of a sudden he had a good spell. And the thing I love about him is he's versatile as well. I've seen him have a man of the match performance against Sheffield United at home in centre midfield. And then he plays right back as well. And I thought he was brilliant on Friday, up there for one of my man of the matches, even though he gave the penalty away. But yeah, I'm a big fan of him and how versatile he is. And I feel a similar way with Styles as well. I've seen him like worthy of a man of the match, playing at left back and at centre mid.
We've got these players now that are sort of coming to the forefront that maybe, like say, Creswell was heavily involved start of the season. Honeyman's done bits for us this year. And then all of a sudden, they're sort of Murray Wallace, and then all of a sudden they're all gone. And out of nowhere, you get Leonard, fucking Styles, and Shackleton coming out of nowhere at the tail end of things and putting in really, really strong performances. Yeah. Colin, how do you feel that Shackleton did? By the way, there's been a couple of donations. Just want to say thanks to them. Mick Robinson, thank you very much for your contribution. And I can't find this one on the comments, mate. There's so many going through. Sorry. Art Vanderlei. Vanderlei Silva. Thanks for the entertainment this season, Lions TV. Looking forward to you in the Prem next year. Ooh, dare we dream. Dare we go on, Con. Sorry, mate.
That's right. No, I think Shackleton and Stoles coming in was like a breath of fresh air, really. They both brought energy, width, both cutting inside. And I thought they both done unbelievably well on the Friday night. I think the penalty was a bit soft. Looking back at it, God knows how many times, you're still wondering whether it was a pen, whether it wasn't. But altogether, I think Shackleton had a great game. Stoles had a great game. And I'd like to see them both playing at wing back with the same shape, same team on Monday.
It's definitely give us a little edge, I think, with Blackburn and giving them something to think about, because at times, you know, Rowett may have been criticised for being a bit predictable with his starting 11s and with his substitutions. But now, Pete, fucking John Dole Thomason's got a lot to think about for Monday.
Yeah, but Dan, do you honestly think he's going to play the same system on Monday? I don't think so.
They're very dangerous. They can be very dangerous coming forward.
Yeah, because he was at that game, wasn't he, the Blackburn manager? Was it that game he was at?
Yeah.
They showed him in the crowd.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play that way Monday. I don't know what you all think about that, but I think he's going to go more like a normal home game that we normally play, like that against the likes of maybe Sheffield United, Burnley. Lay back on. I'll be shocked if he goes for the same sort of gung ho thing. I mean, you look at that which was really good to see. The end of the Blackpool game when he brought on in 3 players: Bennett, Fury, and Burke.
And Fury, yeah.
Pace, yeah. And we was winning. We normally do that when we're losing.
Very
but
true.
We was winning, and he brought them on. And that to me was a massive plus. You know, so right, no, let's not be frightened of anyone. It ain't the time of the season. It ain't the time of the season to be frightened of no one. Don't all that disrespect crap. Just go for them. We're at home, or we're on our own turf. Crowd behind us, and we just got to put in the performance, because if we go out of a whimper, it's not going to be nice. If we have a go and we lose, fair dues, you know. But we just got. We have.
Sorry, it's my fault. I led us on a little bit there from where I should have done. But a lot of people here in the comments talking about the penalty was a dodgy penalty. Not even sure it was a penalty. For me, it was a stonewall penalty to make it 1-1, and it was harsh. Yes, it was harsh. Yes, and their striker knew exactly what he was doing. But in the laws of the game,
it was
unfortunately it was a penalty. But I'm not even really sure. It's a strange one, because as I say, I don't like to point fingers, but I find myself doing it quite a lot. But I thought it was. I went, it's a penalty. But we're not really Shackleton to blame. You know, the guy come from behind him. He knows if he gets that touch first, Shackleton's going to take him. Was it a penalty then, boys?
Yeah, I think so.
I still don't. Like I say, if VAR look at it, it's gonna be a penalty. So
there weren't many complaints from our players, really, was there?
What about what was the feeling in the stands?
I think it was a bit muted. I think we all agree.
Yeah, I think everyone sort of.
I think we all looked and thought, what's just happened there? I think it was a shock.
It was a shock. Well, it always is when you can see
what's happened there. We thought, obviously, we've seen the ball go in the direction that we think Shackleton stuck his foot out at.
Yeah, there was sort of no danger at all, was there? And all of a sudden,
yeah, I think if he wouldn't have gone for that, and then their player would have got in and won the ball, fans would have probably gone, "Oh, he's bowled that, he fucking bowled that." So I think it was the right.
Very true.
It was the right decision to put his foot out for it, but hey ho.
Now, we sort of glazed over the first goal. It was a very, very good team goal. But the second goal, I've had one of my 3 heart attacks that Lee Chitty was talking about.
That made me laugh so much.
I didn't have a stroke. I didn't have a stroke. I couldn't reach. But the second goal. I mean, listen. Oh, that's the third goal. Apologies. There we go. It wouldn't be nice if it fucked something up. There's the second goal. Sort of. My God. Honestly, if he was in this room, I would have got down on one knee right there and then. What a fucking goal. And that is, as much as I love him, right, that's a chance he misses earlier in the season or in previous seasons. So, although I've backed him and some say he's no better than John Danny Bavardson, they fucking should be watching football, those people. But anyway, that and again, Shackleton involved in the build-up. Great ball from Watmore. Watmore knocks one of them passes that I always used to moan about that we don't do, which is breaking lines, which is in between full-backs and centre-halves. And then Bradshaw's away, under the attention of two defenders, just drops a little shoulder, lifts it delicately. Now, if that penalty felt like it seemed a lifetime to go in, Pete, what was your boys' reaction in real time when that fucking trickled in?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what happened, Dan. Where are you? I can't see you.
I'm just getting a beer, mate, so I've left the photo.
Oh, right, yeah. Basically, I was in the toilets when the goal went in. Yeah. Right? The goal went in, and the roar was so loud. The roar was so loud that there was about 100 odd people in the toilets, right? The roar was so loud, and everyone went in the toilet went, for God's sake, we fucking conceded, right? And like, because we thought it was our own fan. And I run out, and as I run out, I'm looking up the other end where the Blackburn, and I'm looking down, hold it a minute, and I went, it's Millwall scored, right? And then I run back in the toilet and says, lads, it's Millwall scored, not them. No one could believe that we scored because of the noise that the Millwall fans made, you know? And, it's just, you know, it's like...
It's incredible atmosphere.
Me and Conor was watching the game last night. Sorry to go off a tangent, but we was watching the Man City, and when they score, they just clap their hands. Well, when we score, it's like a volcano eruption, yeah? The fans just go absolutely raving mad, yeah?
It cut to our fans. It cut to our fans, and it done a fucking slow-mo.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. You don't see that in other clubs.
Those not in the industry, we'll call it slow-mo. And it was just fucking carnage. That must have been a trend, because she went out the room twice. Twice she went out the room. Twice Bradshaw scored.
Oh.
Yeah, fucking serves her right for not letting me call the cat Bradshaw. She wouldn't let me, but she might change her mind if we get promoted. Joe Con, I hope you was present and you wasn't having a shit like Pete when the goal went in.
I was having a wee.
Only a wee. That was what a finish.
Mate.
Mate.
Go on, Joe. You go first. Go on, mate.
No, I was just going to say that is what you call player at the height of confidence. Like, the way he took that finish, like, as you say, might have been... It's all about confidence with players. Like, if they're not confident, they might miss that earlier on in the season. But, yeah, it was so composed. Everything about it. Just the through ball from Watmore, everything about that goal was just brilliant. And we went absolutely wild. And I love watching it back on Sky where Bradshaw comes over, does the knee slide in front of the just the passion and everything about it. Oh, mate, immense.
The love affair that he's got with playing on Sky just continues. I think that's 9 goals, Con, he's got this season.
Unbelievable.
8 of them against Watford, but
mate, that second goal, just to go back to it briefly, I must have looked like I was on a pogo stick. He's going through. He's through, and I'm just jumping up and down, waiting for him to just hit it. But for him to have had the balls to have chipped it over the keeper, as Eddie Hearn says, that man has got a set of bollocks on him. Somehow chip it over the keeper last minute, right?
It was like slow-mo, as it went, yeah.
I'm like, honestly, he can score all season on Sky, mate. He can score all season on Sky. Stick us on the telly every week.
Well, we are on the telly on Monday. The national anthem will be played pre-match.
Hat-trick incoming.
Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do if we win. I don't know what I'm going to do if we lose. Fuck me, we must be doing well. My boy's on the chat. He never, ever watches Lions TV videos. Cheers, boy. Right. Then not long after that, just when you think, mate, how can you... There's a geezer at work, mate. He doesn't like football. And I'm like, what do you do with your life? How can you not fucking love this game? Right, I've watched us. It's fucking madness. I've watched us win 3-2 Friday. I've watched Crystal Palace beat fucking West Ham Saturday 4-3. I've watched Liverpool beat Spurs 4-3. I've watched Leicester and Everton draw 2. It's just fucking unbelievable. And then just when you're up, all of a sudden, boom, straight back down to earth. They go up the other end, and I am quick to point the finger at George Long. I'm not quick to point the finger at him. I know my goalkeeping. And I don't want to dwell on it because he's going to play the last game of the season, and I want him to have the game of his life and give it one of them to me at full time when he does his lap of honour. But I don't think he's up to his standard of football. However, I don't think you can point any fingers at him for that goal. I think they was allowed too much time and space with shots from distance throughout.
That's a big problem, Dan. Us letting the players get a shot off him. They should be closing the guy. How many times has it happened this season when players have had shot
long range
where we've let them get a shot off at? We should be blocking all that stuff. That's what you're there to do, is defend, not let them have any shots on that goal like that. And then roll on, I think about 10 minutes after that goal, he made a fantastic save at his near post, which I don't know what the score was at that time, but that was a great save he made then. You know, so, yeah, I know goalkeepers are there to save goals, but...
he couldn't have done much about that one.
No.
It was that far in the corner. You can't stop.
It was a clean strike. It was a clean strike. And I'm one that will always say, if you can limit your opposition to long-range shots, you're half onto a winner. Because they're not breaking you down. They're not getting in behind. You're not fucking pointing fingers. But it was a good strike. And we just need to get behind Jules Long now. I still think, I fucking hate to say it, I still think that it could be a mistake for him that fucks us. And it's more high risk being a goalkeeper. You know, you make a mistake, boom, it's a goal. But he's going to be playing that, so we've got to get behind him. Here's an interesting one from Greeny Boy. Shacks or Danny Mac on Monday?
Shacks for me all day.
Yeah, Shacks.
I'm going Danny Mac on that. I think he's been solid all season. He's run out a little bit. He did get in a little bit of trouble last few games, but I think he's been solid all season, and he's a proper defender. Where to me, Shacks ain't a proper defender. Yeah, he's good going forward. Granted, Danny Mac is a proper defender, and I think that's what we're going to need for that game. Yeah, someone you know on his day, Danny Mac's got people in his pocket all day long.
Shacks, exactly what you're saying. Yeah,
Shacks for me is not. It's not that game for Shacks. I don't think.
I know what you're saying. We'll be doing a little bit more defending on Monday than we would like to do. But you said we can't have the shackles on. We've got to go for it. So do you think that just due to the way the game's going to go that he'll have to do more defending, or do you think, right, we'll sit a bit more?
I think he'll sit a bit more, definitely. It's a strange one, isn't it? Because the way it works. But then again, it was Blackpool we played, remember? On Friday night. It wasn't like a Burnley or anyone like that, was it?
Yeah, but listen, Blackpool had to go for that. They were going to go for it because they were trying to stay up on Friday.
True. But
Blackburn are going to be doing the same thing. They're going to come at us and go.
Well, listen, I think they need to win. Blackburn need to win more than we need to win, right? So I think what he'll do, we'll let them come at us and let them go forward and hit them on the break. That's personally what I don't think you're going to go gung-ho against them.
I know what you're saying, Pete, because I agree. I think Danny Mac's been brilliant. He's obviously a Millwall fan. Maybe it'll be a stroke of fucking masterclass man management. He'll pull him out for that one game and put him back in. Shackleton is a lot better on the ball. And I think the only thing that, I love Danny Mac, the only thing that lets him down is his final ball. I mean, you look back to Shackleton, he turned him over and then played a couple of 1-2s with Flemming, then laid him right in for the first goal. He assisted Watmore for the second, but then he conceded a penalty. So it's a healthy debate, boys, shall we say. Paul Gramande is saying he'd like to see Shacks. I think sometimes as well, it's one that's fresh in your mind. Darryl, Shacks, Mick Robinson, Shacks. I'm clicking on these. It's just taking a little while to kick in. There you go. Okay, so then that's 2-2. And I'm thinking, similar to Sheffield United game, we fucked it. That's it. I'm going to cry my pillow. I'm not going fucking Millwall no more. Fucking. And then the guy that scores the equaliser concedes an absolute stone wall penalty. George Saville get involved, turning him over high. Then as he runs through, a little bit of fortune, their defender stacks it into Watmore. I mean, let's talk about fucking Watmore before we talk about the penalty. Watmore wins the penalty. When we signed Watmore, I was buzzing. I don't really pay a lot of attention to other teams' players in this division. And I'll hold my hands up to that. I couldn't tell you who plays for this team or that team or fucking what squad numbers they all are. But when we signed him, I was like, I fucking like this guy. And I found a couple of old streams where he played Middlesbrough. And I'm like, he's a fucking good player.
He scored
That's actually a Millwall fan as well, although he's from the north. Scored on his full debut away to QPR, but never really got going. And when we was having that bad run, I'm like, hang on, we've bought Burke and Watmore in to give us that push after we didn't get Nisbet from fucking Hibs. So why are they not playing? Do you think it's got to the point where we're on that bit of a bad run? Maybe he's knocked on the gaffer's door and said, come on, what's going on here? And Rowett's had to sort of give him the chance. And fuck me, did he take it, boys?
I can't quite understand it because I think when it his debut against QPR away,
it was his full debut.
Full debut, yeah.
In the previous home game, but
it was him and Burke. It was him and Burke's debut that game, and they both scored. And
yeah,
that was a thunderbolt he scored as well. And he looked good in the first game against them, but then for whatever reason, I felt like he weren't really given that much of an opportunity. He was just getting a few minutes here and there towards the end, but at the same time, when he was coming on, I don't think he was doing much. Like, I didn't really set the world alight, but then all of a sudden, gets to start Friday, and he was brilliant. He was brilliant. So, yes, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I think we seem to have too many 20-minute players in our squad.
We've got a lot of wingers. We're inundated.
They're only impact subs, all of them. Bennett, Burke, Bury, they're all impact pack players. If we could have them playing like that over 90 minutes, including Watmore, we'd have one hell of a team. Do you know that?
The thing is, we're not the sort of team that will go. No team in this division can go at another. It's a fucking competitive league. No team can go at another team for 90 minutes. We're not fucking Man City. Do you know what I mean? SA's been thrown into the mix there, boys. What do we think about SA starting? Joe's shaking his head.
He's not going to start this season because we're at a point now where you've just got to. Well, one more game might be one more game, whether it is or not. If we've got more games, then you just got to start with experience in these. I'm afraid if he's not started before, as much as I think he'd do a job, I wouldn't mind seeing him starting. I think you've just got to go with the experienced ones now.
It would have been nice to actually be in the playoffs already, and then you could have played him with like games that weren't so much important. But this ain't a game for SA. You know, maybe I don't know, if we're 1-2-0 down, he might bring him on, try and fresh things up. But I think when you look at our bench that come on Friday night, Burke, Bennett, and Bury, I think he's about fourth in line there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. He wasn't even on the bench, was he not?
No. I thought it maybe just went with Bury for experience because Bury's not really been around it. And look, remember when Bury, Bury, that's where I live, the brewery. When Bury come on the scene, everyone was like, "What a fucking player! Brentford are going to buy him." And I'd seen a lot of him for the 21s, and I was like, "He's not very good." But he has, to be fair to him, come on leaps and bounds, scored that goal against QPR, had a worldie of a game with White Derby. Don't remember, he sat Mason Bennett for one. And
yeah.
But then, he's fallen away. He's not really been involved, but he's been doing well for the 21s when he's been playing after his injury. So I think maybe Rout went for him for that reason, but I don't think that it was that. He did put an article saying why SA wasn't involved, but I'm not sure why. A big debate in the group about Shackleton and McNamara. Sorry, let's crack on, boys. Right, let's crack on to the winner. Pete's covered it already. Make sure I click the right fucking photo because I haven't named them. There we go. The Bermondsey Bergkamp. I've not criticised him earlier by saying he can be in and out in games, but as he got that fucking... Well, I think my exact words were, the Dutchman's got ice in his veins. How'd you like them fucking onions?
The onion bag, isn't it?
That doesn't even really make sense, but it's what I went with at the time. The Bermondsey Bergkamp boys.
Yeah.
The onion bag 2.0.
Aidan O'Brien's a Wish version. Is it Wish version of fucking...
Yeah.
of Zian Flemming. Who saw his, by the way, his interview after the game? He went, "We've been on a little bit of a shitty run lately."
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the accent was. It was Indian or Welsh. And they went, "You can't say that." And he went, "What?" Like he didn't even know he couldn't say shitty, did he?
They could say it on their Dutch TV, apparently.
Yeah,
Apparently anything goes on Dutch TV.
Anything goes on Dutch TV.
I used to have RTL as a teenager. Let me tell you, anything went on Dutch TV back in them days. Con.
yeah.
The Bermondsey Burkamp.
Yes, mate.
Has he been so good that we've sort of become accustomed to it now, or has he dipped off slightly?
Listen, I think he was a bit hit and miss. I think the first 15 games, I think he did take a little bit of a while to adapt. As much as he was scoring goals for us, and as silly as it sounds, but I think the first 15 games of the season, I think he just went missing in games, and he didn't really impact other than scoring a goal. I didn't think he seemed to have much impact in the game otherwise. And then it got to like the second 15 games, and I think he sort of grew into games, and he sort of like had a bit more of an understanding and willing to drop deep and fight for the ball and take it forward himself, and make his own chances. And then I thought, oh, fucking hell, yeah, we have got a serious player here. And then the last sort of 10, 15 games, he's just sort of done a similar thing where he's just dropped off. And I even thought recently to drop Flemming because of...
Agreed.
As much as I don't really see him touch a ball very much in the game, and I don't see him having much impact in the game. Like, yeah, he's a fantastic player and he scores lots of goals, but he's other than that, he hasn't really set up many goals. And these set pieces, like these free kicks,
the free kicks and the long throws. I love him. He's a big name player, and even if he's having a bad game, he can turn on a bit of magic. But these non-long throws and these free kicks, these practice model games, they've got to stop.
Mate, it's like you see him practicing the free kicks before. Listen, love Flemming to bits, and I'm over the moon we've got him. But when I sometimes see him taking these free kicks before the games, where he does the old Cristiano Ronaldo step back or Gareth Bale step back, and then hammer them, some of them aren't even that good. None of them, they're not really. Yeah, they're hitting the back of the net, some of them, but there's not a keeper there, so it's like it's not the best kick.
Or has he become a victim of his own success? We've sort of become.
I think so.
To expecting too much from him.
Because
don't forget, Kenny said, before we crack on, Joe, Kenny said, let's not put pressure on him. He's 23, never played in England. If we get nothing out of him this season, and it's a fucking, it's a settling season, and then focus next season. He has put the Ryan Leonard record signing, the Paul Goddard record signing to bed. The hoodoo is now gone. We've actually got a successful record signing. And don't forget, in January, we was talking about fucking hell. We might fucking... Someone said to me, "You think you'll go in January?" I said, "Don't be silly. He's only just turned up." He got to the point, I was like, fucking hell. Maybe he likes it in Millwall. Maybe he likes living in Canary Wharf and he wants to stay here, so he's slowing it down a bit. No, of course he isn't. But Pete, what do you think? A victim of his own success, or do you think...
Obviously, I speak to quite a few people. He would have, if I was manager, he'd been dropped a long time ago. Really? He was just not in games. He was, especially the Wigan one. He was not in it at all. We come up. A lot of people said he flatters to deceive sometimes. Yes, he gets the goals. Of course, he does. And he actually had a good game Friday. One of his best games for a long time. But I was in favour 4 or 5 games back of dropping him. And I think when me and Ken spoke to on the last podcast, I think we was in agreement that he wasn't really on the ball. He sort of lost after Christmas. He sort of went off the ball a little bit, I just hope he gets it. Well, he played a good game the other night, but I think rather on Friday night he played sort of directly behind Bradshaw. He played on the right wing, didn't he?
He played on the right. One of the 3 strikers, right side of 3.
That was instrumental part of our win the other night. So maybe I'll play him out on the right, not directly behind Bradshaw. I won't go along with everyone else saying about he's this and he's that. He's got a lot to prove to me. I know he's got the goals and whatever, but I think he can do a lot more. and have a bigger influence on the game than what he
Yeah,
does.
I mean, I didn't think he played particularly well on against Blackpool on Friday. When you look back, involved in the first goal with Shackleton, scored the winner, of course. And listen, Kevin Ayres wants me to stop saying listen. So you fucking listen, Kevin Ayres. You don't fucking like it. Listen. You listen to me, Kev, right? This is a listening. It's ain't a watch along, or it's a listen off. Listen. You don't like it. You listen to me, pal. You know what the fucking door is, all right? Listen. My show, mate, my rules. I'll say bananas for 90 minutes. And you'll still watch it. You fucking listen. Anyway.
Tim Cracker agrees with me.
They do make me laugh, these comments. They do make me laugh. So, boys, we're giving it out. We're all friends again now, are we? Also. Maybe I do say listen too much. Who knows? But you listen to me, right? This is the fucking table. Table now.
Wow.
Fucking hell. Would we be... No, surely we wouldn't rather be chasing it, would we?
3 draws Saturday or Monday. No?
Well, okay, 3 draws Monday. Let's look at the fixtures then. Boom, there you go. Listen, I took ages over these graphics. Birmingham not interested. Burnley not interested. Huddersfield, boom. Luton, boom. Middlesbrough versus Coventry. So we could still finish 5th, boys, by the way. Middlesbrough not been doing fantastic lately. Of course, us against Blackburn. Preston have got nothing to play for now. They're at home to Sunderland. And Swansea, who also now have nothing to play for, at home to our old mate fucking receding airline, big lug holes. Not that I'm bitter. Jed Wallace. When the fucker scored the winner the weekend, that fucking ruined my night, ruined my holiday. There's the fixtures. Okay. Pete, you're saying 3 draws.
Yeah.
Which will be enough.
Oh, you take that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would take it. Our goal difference is quite... Well, Blackburn doesn't matter, really, so the goal difference doesn't really count for toffee now, does it? But we are in the prime position. We are in the driving seat. How are we feeling about Saturday, boys? Monday. We feeling confident?
Yeah. I am.
Yeah.
I'm feeling quite confident. I am feeling quite confident. Yeah.
I feel like when it really matters most, like, well, the last few games have, but Blackpool particularly, when it's really mattered most, we've really dug in. And I hope the players are going to do it again on Monday.
I liken that Blackpool game, Joe, to the Sheffield United win. Again, 2 seasons ago, where we end up losing in the last 10 minutes and not winning it.
Yeah, exactly. We really showed a lot of character Friday, and I think we'll carry that through.
Fuck me, I hope so. It's going to be. Do you know what? I don't dislike Jed, but if they get in instead of us after the fucking how bad
mate,
listen, it's not. How does it work, Dan? So if you're looking at West Brom, with 7 and we're 8, say that they go to 8 and 8. Does it go for goals scored then?
So hang on, you're saying if we draw and West Brom win,
yeah.
Well, obviously, if we draw, our goal difference will stay the same on +8. Theirs will improve. So if they win 1-0, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Why don't it go head to head?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Does it go
I know a man that will know, Steve Lees. I don't know. So if it goes head to head, how do we get on against West Brom? Drew 1-0 away. What about how do we go at home?
We beat them, didn't we, of course?
Did we?
Oh,
yeah, 2-1.
No, that was a draw, wasn't it? The last minute equaliser.
We beat them 2-1 at home. Jerry said fucking... Jed set
goal
and celebrating like he won the World Cup. And Tyler Fury actually got the winner that day, I believe.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, there you go, look.
Fury.
In the comments, it's goal scored. It's goal scored.
Goal scored. Yeah,
well,
I thought so.
On that little fucking graph that I've took the liberty of uploading, it doesn't say goal scored.
I don't think we're 100% sure on that, to be fair.
Imagine it.
The head-to-head is in another football league, isn't it? Or is it somewhere else about where it goes head-to-head?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But look,
that scenario probably won't happen anyway.
Yeah, let's hope, because we're going to win. Because we're going to win. So look, by the way, Luton, if you don't know, people who are watching who may not know, Luton will finish third now. Middlesbrough can't catch them, of course. You only get 3 points for a win. And Middlesbrough will finish fourth. So if the league table ends like that, we will play Luton over 2 legs, okay? If we do win and Coventry were to lose away at Middlesbrough, then we would leapfrog Coventry, finish 5th, and play Middlesbrough over 2 legs. Now, I thought Luton are an absolute fire, to be fair. I'd rather play Middlesbrough, but if we look at the playoff dates, I'm not sure what that funky graphic is, but bear with me. Put me up close to the screen. I can't see a thing.
Don't book it.
We will play, if we finish, I can't even see it, so little. Championship, if we finish 5th, okay, we'll play 4th. We'll play at home on Sunday the 14th of May, but then we'll play away at Middlesbrough on Wednesday the 17th of May. So we'll all be going to Middlesbrough. That's a 2-dayer all day long, isn't it?
Not during that's awkward, isn't it?
But obviously, if we get Luton, it's a lot closer, but we'll get a lot smaller allocation. But the midweek away game will obviously be a lot closer at home. So come on in, boys. Looking at the league table, what do you think's going to, one by one, what do you think's going to happen? Let's play it out. Come on, play it out for me.
Right. This is how I think it's going to happen. I think Coventry win at Middlesbrough. Right.
Okay.
We draw against Blackburn. I think Sunderland and West Brom are both drawing, and they've both got 8 or 9 minutes added on.
Oh, don't put us through this.
And we're waiting for both games to go to playoffs.
So you see us playing a 2-legger against Luton?
Yeah, if we got there, yeah. But that is just the Millwall way.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what? I remember twice in my life. Once I went to Vegas, and once we got to the FA Cup final against Man United, and I thought, I'll end up dying before these days because nothing this good could ever happen to me. But both happened. I can't remember a lot of either of them, but I hear they was both really good events. I keep thinking in my, not negative mindset, it couldn't be that good on Monday. And by the way, I'm not going to work all week if we do win. Nothing that good can happen to me that I'm going to go to fucking Millwall on Monday and we're going to turn Blackburn over. It's almost too good to be true in a way. Joe?
Oh, mate. It's making me feel funny thinking about it. Getting nervous.
Horrible, isn't it? It's horrible, but at the same time, it's exactly where we wanted to be as a fan base. So now we're saying it's like the Millwall tube all over again. Oh, fucking hell, we've got a penalty.
Yeah. I'm just straight up going to go. We win Monday, and Coventry are going to beat Borough as well. So we'll end up playing Luton.
Okay. Pete?
Straight up.
Well, listen, it's like someone is trying to push us across that line, isn't it? And it's been so, especially the last few weeks, it's been up and down. And we was out of our hands, wasn't it? And, and it was in our hands all for ages. Then all of a sudden, and that defeat at Wigan, it was out of our hands, yeah. And then it all went for us during the week with the results. Couldn't have gone any better, could it? Right, Sunderland could have lost thingy, but you had the Burnley game where they beat Blackburn. You had the Sheffield United game where they beat West Brom. You had the Preston game. You had the draw. It's like,
what was the one where the keeper scored in the last minute as well?
Coventry.
That was Coventry against Blackburn, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it was like, it's all, like someone's up again, we're just going to tease you a little bit, push you across the line. We're going to push. And I think where it was out of our hands, it was in our hands, and it was out of our hands. Now it's back in our hands. We've got to do something about it to win.
Someone said, like,
we've got to win.
I was listening to a podcast earlier and someone said the football gods tricked me. Oh, we're going to be saying that come fucking 5 p.m. I don't know why I'm laughing because I honestly think I'll cry. And I ain't cried since we got promoted from the League One.
Do you remember Bournemouth last year? I remember my podcast walking along the park there last year when we just missed out on it. You know, Luton got in the playoffs, didn't they, the last day? And I was walking along and sending a message, John, we got to invest in this club. We got to push on to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? So back on that, we have pushed on, and we've got another step further. Whatever happens, if we lose, it's another question. Yeah.
I think if we get to the playoffs and
even if we don't
get with 2 legs, or we get to Wembley and we get spanked 3-0 or 3-1, like we did against Barnsley, I think the fans go, do you know what?
Yeah, I would.
It's progression.
I'd say it's been a great season.
Yeah.
Steve Toff says, how do we feel Blackburn? How do you think Blackburns feel? Any idea about Monday? They're confident. I'm actually friends with a Blackburn player. But I'll be fucking wankering him clean off on Monday when he comes to set a corner. They haven't won in 8 league games. They haven't won since the 15th of March. Let's talk about Blackburn and their threats. Yeah. Of course, they was promoted to the Championship after us, wasn't they? Tony Mowbray was in charge. They was running away with it at one point a couple of years ago. Then lost 7-0 to Fulham and then completely capitulated after that. A club in similar position to us, would you say, in the Championship now established, pushing for more, but like Joe said, a goalkeeper scored against them. They lost to Burnley. They actually clawed one back, didn't they, in the last minute against Luton the other day? They nearly won it. Sammy Smollett, unbelievable shot, hit the bar, hit the line. How do we think that Blackburn are feeling about this game? I'm not sure if it's a good thing that they haven't won in 8 games now.
Well, you know, it's like with us. Whenever someone's on a bad run, they'll always break their duck against us. I've always said that.
It's true, isn't it?
But not this time. Not this time. Listen, that's why I ain't done score predictions. I've never been great at score predictions. I don't know. I think to be in our hands again, we surely can't miss.
I'm just hoping the occasion gets the better of them. A packed out then. Listen, they're on a bad. Well, their forms ain't been great either. So they might not come in. They might literally bottle it as soon as.
Do we think it's a good thing that one, they're still in the running, but 2, they've got to come at us? I think that plays into our hand.
Yeah.
I think because if you look this season, we've struggled against the teams that ain't tried to come at us. And the last couple of home losses, it's been like that. Like your Birmingham, your Huddersfield, those 2 losses, they didn't come at us really. They didn't come there to win the game. No. Really, they would have settled for a draw, and they've ended up winning the game.
I think if the roles were reversed, we'd be a lot more nervy. If Blackburn would come in and only needed a point and were sitting, I'd be going.
Yeah.
But they are going to come out if they have to win the game.
Yeah, I think that suits us in all honesty. Blackpool had to win that game the other night.
Theory, Dan, we have to win the game. They have to win the game.
Yeah.
A draw might not be no good for none of us. So none of us are going to go for a draw. Unless, like you say, say the other whistles are gone and we know their draws, and somehow it gets to the players on the pitch that if we don't concede a goal, we're in the playoffs. You know, like
it's definitely no good for Blackburn, is it?
Now it goes in the 95th minute, everyone back. Yeah, everyone back. It's just don't concede. It can be one of them, mate. It'll be, one of them radio.
Will there be a Chinese of a monumental order in the Amara household, Bank Holiday Monday?
Listen, mate.
I think we make it.
Honestly, I'll say this now, right? We're all in this. If we win Monday, we go missing for 2 days.
Yeah, we go back to Blackpool for 2 days.
Was it that good? Yeah.
Trilogy nightclub.
How does Mummy O'Mara Stacey feel about that, Pete?
Not happy. She just shouted at me just then.
Yeah. You ain't got forgiven for the last trip to Blackpool.
Then I'll give you away for a week then when Stacey leaves.
Charlie says it's party or riot. Oh God.
I agree with that.
It's true, isn't it?
100%.
You know what? Yeah.
If we draw or lose, mate, it's gonna kick off.
Yeah.
They'll give out to us no matter what, saying that we've bottled it. Both teams will end up bottling it.
I'm afraid it will. I'm afraid I've got a funny feeling about that.
Yeah.
Do that.
boys, we like. I know, like it's football, but football is life. And as a man once said, football isn't a matter of life or death. It's far more important than that. I don't know what I'll do either way. If we win or lose, I don't know. Well, if we win, I've got a good idea of how and what time it'll end. But if we lose,
it's just a shame it's on a Monday. Like everyone's got work the next day.
No, fuck that. No, absolutely not a chance. Absolutely not a chance. I'll be going anywhere Monday. I'll be playing the ukulele till dawn in here. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, boys, well, listen. That concludes business, really. Unless anyone's got any Jerry Springer final thoughts.
Cool.
I'll just.
We've got a Premier League Monday, right? So I feel like he's going to be against us already, right?
Who?
We've got a Premier League ref that's been appointed.
Oh, yes. Good point.
Hopefully, we might get a penalty on Cooper then.
Right?
Yeah.
The world's going to be against us. I'm going to end this on a positive note, and I'm going to say all 3 to the Lions, playoffs, and smash Luton out the park over to Wembley against Middlesbrough. Come on, you Lions.
That's my boy.
I mean, that's my favourite boy that he say. Boys, thanks for joining us. Thanks everyone for tuning in. There's been loads of comments. I'm sorry I didn't get through them. We're around 20 minutes.
Great comments, got to say, from everyone.
Yeah, really good comments. Colin, we left it on your motivational speech. I think we're there. For all the duties. My preview, by the way, will be up. Probably should have been up today. It's a bit late now. I'll stick my preview up tomorrow. I've got a preview coming from Regal Elevators, fucking loony sponsor. He wanted to have his input. Boys, if you want to have an input, send me videos over and I'll stick them out tomorrow. And then we wait, we stay sober, we don't ruin it for ourselves the night before by getting at 5 in the morning. And we go at 3 p.m. on Monday for the biggest game in 20 years.
Get nervous.
If anyone's asking me for spare tickets, there ain't none.
No, fight me. The amount of, well, I'll tell you now, I've got close friends and family that can't even get tickets.
Yeah.
So please, everyone, stop asking.
Listen, I said to Son the other day, Dan, you've got more chance of getting a ticket at Chelsea and West Ham these days than you have Millwall.
Yeah, you have. Well, do you know what? Just finally, did you see the Arsenal tickets? Arsenal tickets for the final game of the season before they fucked it up and bought it. We're going for like 28 grand. Fucking madness. We buy players for 28 grand. They're selling match day tickets.
I think that's
boys,
right.
3 p.m. Monday. We've all agreed to go missing until Wednesday if we do win. Thanks to the panel for joining us. Hopefully not for the last time of the season, because if we do get it over the line, then we'll go again. We'll go again for the playoffs. Cheers, boys. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Oh, please subscribe to Lions TV.
Come on, you Lions.
Come on, you Lions.